Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, MBs. Welcome to Warui Deshou Streamer 4 on Banana Fish episode 20. Joining me today is, of course, as always, my very good friend. Not an actual doctor, but he's still, he knows all this stuff. He's very knowledgeable. The Soul Doctor, of course.
Not really subtle either, I've come to realize over the course of my life. Since I've had this screen name, I'm like, been thinking, is this really the most apt screen name I could have?
You need to find a new, adjective to go before Doctor. So maybe we'll put that to a poll, perhaps. Put up a couple of ideas as to what your new handle could be.
Yeah. Then it wouldn't. It was a philosophy thing. I have to say, I've told this story many times, but there's in another life I was going to get a philosophy PhD. I have a graduate degree in it. Have an MA in philosophy, but I didn't finish the PhD stuff for many reasons. But a medieval philosopher, John Duns Scotus, like the Catholic Church, liked to award sort of a title to their like intellectuals, I guess, and like St. Thomas Aquinas was called the Angelic Doctor, for instance, and Scotus they called the Subtle Doctor. And I always thought, that's such a cool name. What a great title. One of the, put that one in the lowly prose pile of, things that the Catholic Church did in the late Middle Ages.
Well, you're doing better than me. Like I say, I've still got the holdover from my World of Warcraft days as my handle. But anyway, we're here, of course, today to talk about episode 20, The Unvanquished, which I'm not sure if that sounds like, a new metal band name, perhaps. We're going to see The Unvanquished. I'm going to go see them at the concert hall tonight. It's going to be great.
Or
this episode, not so much though. Sorry to say, gonna get out there now. I was not so hot on this one.
Spoilers.
I'm afraid. This episode has problems. It has one problem I never expected to actually be talking about in relation to Banana Fish. I didn't believe it when I saw it, but here we fucking go.
Okay. No,
we'll talk about it in a sec.
Yeah, let's give that its due gravity. But I just have to say, looking up The Unvanquished, it's fucking not a short story by F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's not an Ernest Hemingway. They picked a different American author.
What?
To crib titles from.
Is that why this episode isn't quite as good as the previous? Because they broke the pattern?
You could be onto something.
I don't know. I'm seeing a trend here. Trend.
Then the drop in quality is inverse to what I think is a rise in quality of chosen authors, because this is a William Faulkner novel, and I happen to think quite highly of Mr. Faulkner. I've been to his house. What is it called? Is it called Row Manor? I can't remember what it's called, but I don't know. It's speaking of fucking my philosophy graduate school days. I went to grad school in Oxford. No, not that Oxford. Not Oxford, England. Oxford, Mississippi.
It was Oxford with two X's. Oxford.
No. And William Faulkner's house is there, and I toured it a few times. It's a really beautiful place.
By the way, I've brought along a new beer tonight. It's Dr. Thirsties by Witchwood Brewery.
Well, that should be my new screen name, Dr. Thirsty.
I was going to say, I bought this and I thought to myself after the fact, wait a minute, you have to become a doctor, you're not born one. So does that mean his name was Mr. Thirsty beforehand? Fuck. I hope I didn't put that on a date profile.
That's what the dentist calls, at least every dentist I went to as a child, and I went to a few, and my kids now go to them, and they still do. Did the dentist my kids go to still does this? No relation to the dentist that I had as a kid. So when you're getting your teeth cleaned, and they have a little gun that sprays water in your mouth, and then they have like a tube that they stick in there, like a little vacuum that sucks it all out. They call him Mr. Thirsty. And they always have done, because he sucks all the water out of your mouth.
I'm sure there's a fair few people I know on the internet and in real life who I could call Mr. Thirsty, that's for sure. But anyway.
Looking at you, Jay.
Well, anyway. Right, so before we actually get to the episode itself, let's talk briefly about the polls from last time. Let's see how they're trending at the moment.
So let us...
I'm just putting off talking about the opening 30 seconds of episode 20 as long as I can.
Well, and we must have order. There's a process for these episodes. We can't just get on here and do whatever the fuck, people.
Oh, this really? Come on, man. I thought that was what I was doing all along now, you know? Rebel about cause, no rules.
This was science. It always has been, goddammit. All right.
Oh, science ruins everything, god damn it.
Here we go. The polls from Banana Fish episode 19. Ice Palace.
Ice, baby.
Is Blanca getting cockblocked by Yutling the best scene in hashtag Banana Fish thus far?
Of course.
83% say yes. And good on you. There's still quite a bit of time to vote in that one. Mm-hmm. In all of these, in fact. I forgot we did this. Do you ship the meerkats from Compare the Market? 62% say yes in all caps. At the 38% have voted ellipsis. AG : 67% say Mr. Right. 33 say Mr. Right Now. Is being afraid of pumpkins a character flaw? 63% say yes. Those are the polls.
Indeed. So let us move away from the polls. Let's talk about the actual episode. One thing I want to say again, because I'm still putting off talking about this fucking moment as long as I can. Put a pin in this thought as we go along, folks. When I started watching this episode, I had the expectation in my head that the entire episode was going to be the party. You know, gradually worming their way in, you know, infiltrating, you know, and then eventually they get Ash out at the end of it, and that's the episode. Not the case, as it turns out. The party takes up maybe a quarter of it before they get Ash out, and then it's just a series of John Wick-esque, you know, crawling through the sewer sequences. By the way, if I were to describe this entire episode as its equivalent of the sewer level, you know, from video games, the worst one a lot, then that might be potentially true. Very sorry to say. But yeah, I legitimately thought the entire episode was going to be a party, and the thing is, maybe this is my, like, you know, be projecting a little bit here, but maybe that's an adaptation issue, because I get the feeling that the party might have been its own volume. Do fill me in on this info if you know, folks. I'm curious to know, in actual, like, manga terms, how much time the party took up. Like, how long did they take to get in there? Are we starting to really compress shit down? Because the funny thing is, like, we have 3 major set pieces in this episode: the party, the sewers, and later a museum. And if you told me they were all their own volumes, I'd buy that immediately. I'm thinking that, you know, people have said that the show was running out of time, and I'm starting to see it a little bit here.
Yeah, it is. We are in the last lap of the Mario Kart Grand Prix here, so it's true that, and it is interesting. Oh no!
Jesus, Muir, I almost spat my fucking drink out reading that. 260 fucking pages. Jesus Christ!
What is that? That's a couple volumes, maybe, roughly. I mean, could be, depending
fucking
on I don't know
hell.
how big those chapters were. Which, and by the way, speaking of the manga, I've been corrected. Wikipedia says that Banana Fish was a fortnightly publication, a bi-weekly one, and Carice 67 on Twitter,
shout out to Carice,
has informed me that it was actually a monthly. So I think going back to the discussion before of you know, does this sort of thing feel rushed, and we talked about, like, the crunch, and understandable definitely for weekly and bi-weekly, and I mean it's always understandable, I guess, when you have deadlines for art, but it was probably, I guess it depends on what the mangaka, what else they were doing at the time, but having a month to draw it is a nice cushion. I guess depending on how many pages that you got to turn in for the monthly. I don't know how long the chapters are. I'm so ignorant about the manga. Maybe someone in chat could fill us in. But speaking of adaptation,
oh fuck.
Let's once again put off talking about the horrible thing that we have to mention, because I actually wanted to bring this up, and this is a really good time, I think, to slot it in. We received a really nice email from Jessica. Again, you could email us, waruidesho@gmail.com, referring to our last stream. And do you remember in episode 19 the scene in which Yutlung was, there was an attempt on his life?
Oh, yes, that's right.
And my contention was, boy, this scene sure feels like feels like it's moving quite fast. So it could be like a victim of adaptation, like cutting stuff, and it just feels kind of unfinished and disconnected. I'm going to read some of this, because I think this is quite brilliant way to look at this scene. It actually makes it feel very important and very like cohesive with the vision that the show seems to have for Yutlung's character. So, the scene we've talked about, Blanca and Sing enter Yutlung's residence, immediately discover there's an assassin, and the assassin kills himself. So we're told by Yutlung that he was wounded with a bullet, but couldn't say who it could be, like who the assassin could be, since he has so many enemies. So she says you could take the scene at face value like I did. It could be one of his relatives, a Vietnamese attacker, but that leaves you with a lot of questions.
I have a feeling where this might be going, but carry on.
Okay. If this quote-unquote chef had been employed here for about a month, why hadn't he just poisoned Yutlung earlier with his food? What are the odds that he just happened to pull this attack coincidentally as Blanca was also coming to visit? Why does the scene seem to come out of nowhere? How did Yutlung come out of this confrontation with only a small bullet wound to the shoulder that he seems to get rid of quite quickly?
I wish I had a longer beard right now so I could stroke it more vigorously.
Why was
because
the
I'm seeing where this is going. I'm seeing where this is fucking going.
Why did the assassin kill himself? This pro if captured.
He pulled a fucking Ozymandias from Watchmen.
Right. So
he did. He fucking did, didn't he?
These questions become explained when you consider that this was not an outsider's attack, but was an act staged by Yutlung himself.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that was where it was fucking going.
We know that Lung is having his brothers as well as their wives and children killed off. If all these blood relatives are being murdered, and in the end he's the only one who is untouched, suspicions would definitely be aroused. To make himself also look like a victim through a failed assassination attempt, that would throw off suspicions. And he's going to take full advantage of this opportunity to check off another item on his to-do list, to get Blanca to sign a contract with him. We know from earlier in the episode when Yutlung surprises Blanca with a visit to his hotel that he'd invited him to dinner a lot of times, and Blanca rejected him. We know that Yutlung hired this chef about a month ago, which is coincidentally, it coincides with Blanca's stay in New York City, the length of his contract. So he had this assassin ready to spring this attack from the moment he hired him, but as Blanca never accepted any of his invitations, he would need to take matters into his own hands and force him to come to dinner. He tells Blanca twice in this episode that he wasn't going to give up, even if it means causing himself harm. And then Jessica goes on to say that this also shows Yutlung serving as a foil for Ash, because if you recall, when Ash was in prison, he let himself get attacked by Garvey in order to be sent to the infirmary to get a pill. It's scary to think Ash will go to these lengths to accomplish his goals, but we see that he has put his own safety and pain aside for these reasons, and similarly, Yutlung has done this to kill two birds with one stone. And this adds to Yutlung's reactions when Sing is there, because Sing was actually not part of the plan, and so he is kind of genuinely surprised, like, what are you doing here? Like, this, this doesn't, this has not been figured into my plans. Don't poke holes in my story. You don't tip Blanca off. So
that's genius.
And she asks, and she says, like, ever since she read the manga and everything, like, this is just sort of intuitively what she was thinking. And that made me wonder if the presentation of the manga kind of better illustrates this and, like, pushes it out there as a viable point of view. So, and she asks, what do we think of Blanca here now? Do we think that he was fooled and accepted the contract, sort of believing the story? Do we think he accepted it out of sympathy? Do we think that he sees through the plan and has an ulterior motive, and so wants to get next to Yutlung? And I think in this episode, after seeing this episode, I probably lean toward the final of the three options there. But I think that was a really good analysis and makes me appreciate the scene a lot more. So thank you, Jessica.
Yeah. That was very insightful. Thank you. For me, I've got two reactions. One is the joke one, which is that Blanca, he is wanting to get one up on Yutlung, but not because of anything to do with that, but just because he got cop blocks. He wants revenge for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you
could be waiting for the opportunity.
Fun time with that maid there, and I'm going to fucking kill you for it. The alternative, the one I obviously find more serious is that
he's wanting to make him fall in love with them and then just reject him.
No, not that. The other interpretation I take is that I think that Blanca is probably focusing way too much on Ash and knows Ash so well, but he knows nothing about how Yutlung operates. So I think that he probably is completely unaware of the larger game that Yutlung is playing here.
Could be.
Maybe not completely unaware. He's aware he's playing games, but maybe not necessarily with himself. So that's my feeling on it. But yeah, that's
right.
That's quite a good reading, that. So thank you for that, Jessica.
Totally. I'm going to update the word 19 and change it to 20 now. One time we did a whole episode with the past.
That's another delaying tactic. We're doing the same episode again, so we'd have to talk about what happens in this one. But
right.
We must, right?
Peel the Band-Aid off.
Okay, so people in the audience, I'm going to describe my reaction to this opening 30 seconds of this episode, and I want you to imagine the sound of, like, a car crash happening, a really catastrophic one, like, where it's just banging and, like, everything just blows up. Because we're at the party, and Yutlung is discussing with Blanca, like, he's just, eyeing up everyone who's there, like, politicians, moguls, all the fancy rich people here hobnobbing around, and he says a line. And the line goes, the Corsica, not the Corsican, so typo. The Corsican Foundation is trying to become the US's next Jewish community. I had to pause the episode at this point. I really did. And the funny thing is, that's partly the fault of it happening just like literally within the first 30 seconds, it completely caught me off guard. But it's also partly the fault of the fact that I was just like, what? What the fuck is this line? Are you meaning to tell me, Banana Fish, that even though this line is being said by, Mr. Darkside the Moon himself, and he's obviously not got a good bone in his body, are you mean to tell me?
But look, I mean, also Blanca is just like, yes, good observation.
Indeed. Let me swill my drink, sir. So are you mean to tell me that you're making a comparison between the fictional villains of this show, who are all about the mind control by them?
The mind, yes. Shadowy figures controlling the destiny of many.
Of
the government,
With, the fucking Rothschild shit?
Are you really
going there? Are you really fucking going there and making that comparison?
It was so lame. It was so silly, stupid. Just... why could they not have just scrubbed that? I didn't enjoy it. I want to stress that this is not a thing that's gonna like tank the show or anything like that for me. I mean, I've always said, to a lesser degree or greater degree, all shows are problematic in some ways, and sometimes that's only revealed with time, and sometimes it's very fucking obvious, like in this case. It's just annoying. It's annoying, but
I never ever thought in my life, like, so when I started watching Billie Eilish, the one thing I would accuse always being anti-Semitic, but hey, here we fucking are. Jesus Christ. And you know what the worst thing about this is? This is, like, here's the thing, right, to get ahead of this, even though I really should save this as a talking point, but I'll just get out of the way now. Like,
go for it.
I wouldn't be adverse to this being used narratively to, you know, be a long-standing part of Yulong's character. Like, you know, if he'd always had that kind of thing going, and it factors into the plot somehow. But it's just an off-the-cuff observation that doesn't do anything. You could drop this line entirely, and I would not have known any different. Why the fuck is it here? What purpose does it serve? I'm honestly fucking boozled at its inclusion, especially given the fucking racial diversity of the show thus far and how good it's been with that they kept this fucking thing in.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely mind fucking blown. Are you literally mean to compare an entire religion next to a bunch of people who are mind controlling, killing people? Oh, and don't forget the rapists in there as well. What the fuck?
Very, very poor taste, obviously, and quite offensive. Like, and Mirror makes another astute point here that there's meant to be an American on the production committee, which would make sense, right? As this show taking place in sort of a reimagining of 80s America in the modern day, a sort of weird mishmash of that sort of thing. Yeah, how did this get through the cracks? That's really that's interesting.
It'll turn out he's a fucking Pizzagator or something. Who the fuck?
Pizzagate. I mean, this is like me looking for a huge cop-out. Like, there's no way this is like a translation thing, right? Like, where it just, there's some kind of colossal screw-up. What if it's just Amazon's fault?
Well, they didn't spell Corsican correctly either, so who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Anyway, what a bummer. What a
I'm
bummer.
just going to say, like, it doesn't tank the show for me either.
Yeah.
But it does make this episode pretty bad. Well, not pretty bad. It makes... Okay, yeah, it does. Let's just call it what it is here. Like, it kind of tamed the whole thing after the fact for me. And the thing is, like, I would have probably not minded so much if the rest of the episode had a lot of really strong episode 19 kind of stuff going on. No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, you did kind of feel like it tripped right out of the gate there and never recovered the momentum that we were feeling from 19.
All right. Anyway, let's move on from that load of bollocks. So, Ash is then carted in. Now, my original theory that he had been poisoned by banana fish is not true. He'd just been blinded, much in the same way that Golzine had previously blinded him when he took him to the opera. Presumably because he obviously won't be able to escape. As we'll learn later, Ash is basically fucking Daredevil, so here we are. I mean, seriously, some of the shit he fucking pulls off when he's supposedly blind is... This is going to be another thing, like, the long recurring problem of Ash being overpowered comes back and raises its ugly head in this episode. To its detriment. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, AG's infiltrating there as a waiter. He gets a gun from one of Ash's friends, you know, the Snaggletooth one, with pink hair.
Right. So I can't remember their names, if they've said them at all. Who knows if they've been...
Indeed.
I'm sure they've been in the manga named.
Mm-hmm. So, at this point, Blanca seems to notice AG's there, but doesn't make anything of it, and then all hell breaks loose immediately. Again, kind of caught me by surprise, less so than the previous stuff, admittedly. But it caught me by surprise because I was of the opinion it was going to be a whole episode thing, you know, like we're going to gradually work our way through... You know, there's going to be a scene in which, you know, AG bumps into Blanca, but he's got the glasses on his Clark Kenton and no one recognizes it.
Some more Hitman shit.
Yeah, really. It really did feel like Hitman. So all hell breaks loose.
The good guys come in.
Yeah.
And start mowing people down with Uzis and semi-automatic weapons.
They go fucking town.
What heroes!
AG pulls his gun on Golzine, but Golzine gets Ash up close and says, like, go on, pull the trigger, I dare you. fucker. With side effects. And AG does eventually shoot, but he only ends up wounding Galzine, which allows Ash a chance to escape. And someone comments that, how could you miss at that point blank?
Sing.
Like, to be fair, we did have the establishing thing, that AG can't, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, to borrow that old dodgeball quote.
Right.
And Blanca's like, Lily's like to Blanca, kill him now, and he's like, no, I'm just here to protect you. So they're still trying to work out the kinks in their little
Blanca,
not relationship.
Kill him,
please.
Come on, do it, do it.
Mm-hmm. Why won't you fucking do it? Ash, by the way, gets a gun at some point.
I'm just here to protect you.
And here's a gun being cocked by just to shoot someone while blind, and I'm like, really?
I knew you were going to have a really poor reaction to that. I heard a gun cock, Kane. What do you want me to do? just kills a man while blind. I mean, it was pretty badass, but yeah, I mean, I can understand because, I mean, do you feel like the show has, like, I mean, at certain times it really has presented itself as, like, it kind of has dove into that, like, cheesy action movie lexicon. Like, do you remember when they were, I guess, around the time of Shorter's death, when they were, like Ash pulled a Rambo and was wearing, like, full, like chest belts with bullets all over them, and they raided the armory and, like, were just blowing people away. So, I mean, there's been stuff like this before where it's kind of, like, good cheesy. But admittedly, like, the show is not always taking that tone, so it can catch one off guard from time to time.
The problem with that is that, to go back to that example you cited there, that was Ash's bloodlust coming through there because of everything that just happened. So, while it was cheesy action, it actually had a narrative point because he did want to murder the fuck out of everyone in the house. And then, of course, what happened with Dawson's brother, whose name I forget, that fucking pencil neck little shit biscuit. So here, it just makes the point, like, well, if he was blinded, was that ever really an impediment for him if he could still aim a fucking gun and shoot someone through the head?
Only against Blanca. But he can't beat him with vision, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, God. Well, there's your thing, like, Blanca is the admission of the problem. So
Manira said that Sing's comment in the manga, they found it a little bit funnier because Eiji trains with Ash's gang, and we don't really get to see too much of that. I think they were hoping to imply that with some of the scenes and some of the kind of, like, it's like we talked about, don't hesitate to pull the trigger kind of deal. Like, they seem a little bit closer and they seem to take him seriously. So, but it would have been cool to see, and then it would have made it much funnier because you're like, it's building up to Asia killing someone and building up, and then, oh, don't even need you to kill anyone because this blind guy here could just stand up and kill him.
I know.
It's awesome.
I have to say, like, I hope that, I like to imagine, like, in the same way that Pixar movies have their outtakes, there's an outtake of Banana Fish where Eiji's firing the gun, and it's rubber bullets, of course, because that's how it would work. But he ends up actually hitting Galzine straight in the head. He was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that, sorry.
Yeah.
Galzine's like,
can I say, Mirror, and I think I speak for Shadon here too when I say, like, as a, like, concept just kind of on its own, like Banana Fish being cheesy action movie type deal, I don't mind that shit at all either. In fact, I like, a lot of my favorite anime is, like, super cheesy, over the top. Like, I love that shit. I love action movies. They're great. I think we kind of just feel, and correct me if I'm not speaking for you here, like, our feeling was that in the beginning, the show really had this incredible tension about it that we were really attracted to, and that has dissipated now in these fights and in the gunplay because of how overpowered Ash has been and is being. I think that's all. It's like I don't hate it. Like, it's fun. It's just like, man, earlier Banana Fish. Like, God, like I missed that tension with that danger. It was so exhilarating.
Well, speak from my experience here. Like, one of my favorite action movies of all time, and indeed the best Christmas movie ever made, is Die Hard. And here's the thing about Die Hard, right? Yes, it is cheesy action. I mean, the one-liners are ridiculous. It's all, it's all there. But John McClane in that particular film felt vulnerable. Like, there were times he was getting the shit kicked out of him, or like, getting shot or injured. He looked like he was in pain. Fucking glass in the foot, if you remember that. Ooh, that still sends shivers down my spine.
Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm. You've not seen Die Hard, have you?
I've never seen any I caught part of like the fourth one on TV once.
You caught part of the fucking fourth one, so you didn't even catch a part of a good Die Hard film.
Right. Turn it up.
Okay, but the point I'm making here is that,
like, when people talk about like Alan Rickman when he passed and how awesome he was, and I just have to be like, yeah, Snape, a cool guy, because I haven't seen. I mean, people love his Die Hard stuff, so I know I should see the movies, but
this is going to be the most depressing stream of thought we've ever done, isn't it? We're talking about this unfortunately mixed bag episode of Banana Fish. Found out that you haven't even seen fucking Die Hard. Oh, and on top of that, we also found out that there's going to be a live-action Cowboy Bebop. Remix.
Yeah. Are you mad about that?
No, I'm just confused. Why?
You are?
Why does it exist?
Well, they were gonna make like a live-action movie about it forever ago.
Why? Why though? Why? Who's it for? Why are you making it? How is it going to be better than the original? Tell me.
Well, it's probably not going to be better than the original.
Why? What's the point then?
To make money off nostalgia.
Fuck you then. Just Jesus. Fuck.
It could be kind of cool to revisit that world in a different.
You know what you can do? It's on Netflix already.
Oh, is it? It's not over here. It's on.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
No, it's not on Netflix here. It's It used to be. I don't even know if it's still on Crunchyroll because the Funimation Crunchyroll alliance has been disbanded. So.
Anyway.
There's another movie for me to skip. Are you talking about Die Hard?
No, I think he means the Cowboy Bebop.
The Bebop. It's going to be a TV series, isn't it?
Yeah. No, God, no.
Look, I'll watch it. Like, people are giving shit to like. I don't know if the Kakegurui live action is a Netflix thing. Like the Death Note one was terrible. I mean, the Death Note one was straight hot trash, and I talked about how bad it was on a different podcast. But like live action adaptations, and is this going to be an American production or is this going to be Japanese? Because, they talked about like Bleach, like as a Netflix one, and it's a totally Japanese. I thought that Bleach movie was fine. I did not hate it at all.
I have actually seen that. It's okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
But here's like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, how on earth are they going to adapt shit like the stuff from Mushroom Samba? That's where animation shines.
CG, man. C-fucking-G. Or maybe, okay, so my fear with it would be that they only, like, adapt the Spike versus Vicious main plot and largely focus on that and have, like, some bits here and there of, like, stuff. You know what I mean? Like, some comedy bits in episodes, but not have any. I guess if they're doing a full TV show, they gotta have some comedy episodes, but I don't know how long did they say how long it's gonna be?
I don't know and I don't care. It's gonna suck balls. I'm not interested. It's
not even the biggest anime Netflix news this week. Evangelion coming to Netflix is the fucking Godzilla of Netflix news in the anime world. That's fantastic. Well, I never thought everyone would be talking about Evangelion on Twitter. Everyone, like, what? Who would have even guessed that? That's so cool.
Well, I'll just finish off the thought by saying that someone pointed out that the reason we keep getting these is because of the perception that live action is better than animation, and I'm so fucking sick of that. I'm so fucking sick of that, attitude.
Yeah, well, look at it this way. Look at it this way, right?
Give us new Bebop that's animated. There you go. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Netflix is doing plenty of original animation, but look at it this way, right? Here's how I would choose to look at it. Rather than take that point of view and say this is the point of view of the production studio or whatever, because they'll make whatever makes them money. I don't think that they have like quality standard, like we need to do this instead of that because it's artistically superior. They'll do whatever makes them money. I think that there are a lot of people out there with that attitude generally, and they could see this and be like, fucking Cowboy Bebop, this is some good shit. And people will be like, it already has some cachet, so people will be writing about it. And other people will be like, yeah, it's good shit. You know what? It was anime originally. And let me tell you, check the anime out. And be like, maybe kind of get them into anime that way. Because they might be like, okay, I'll check out, I like this Bebop. I want to see some more Bebop. And if they watch any of the Bebop anime, I mean, that's great. So that could be like a kind of an inroad for people. That's what I think the best case scenario is for this.
Could they just not advertise for the original? I mean, Netflix does not have the money to be spending on this because they are significantly in debt. They should be pissing away the money doing something like this, to be quite honest. Anyway, let's get back to Banana Fish. So, in the aftermath of the party being shot the fuck up by everyone,
will the seatbelts do the music again? That is the most important question. I'm sorry.
Oh, Yoko Kanno for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably... I would say probably not.
I mean, heck, it's not like, big...
Oh, wait a minute, production. Maybe. Because Watanabe is a consultant. And let me tell you...
Consultant, though.
Well, look, the last time he was a consultant on a show was Michiko and Hachin, and the music in that is fucking incredible. So he will have... the music is important to this guy. I mean, look at Bebop, Champloo, Kids on the Slope, Michiko and Hachin, all with these incredible, really focused musical visions. Like, this is a director that understands the importance of that. He'll have stuff to say, okay? I feel like you can probably count on the soundtrack to this actually being good, whether or not it is the seatbelts, whether or not Yoko Kanno is composing. Hopefully she will, and hopefully they will, but even if not, I have faith in Watanabe that he'll come through.
Anyway, I need to have more of this just to cope with the other shit. Okay, so in the immediate aftermath of the party, Ash, Eiji, and Koval escapes. Yulong has a conversation with Blanca in which he accuses him of actually helping Ash to escape by simply not intervening. And they say, should we nullify the contracts? He's like, no. I just want you to find him, kill the fucking rest of them, get them all. What then happens is they're all in the sewers. They manage to get down there. It's the same kind of disused subway system that we saw previously in the episode involving Arthur. Ding, by the way, because that's not the last time that fucker's
If only we hadn't lost Arthur. Wherever Arthur is in the next life. He just sneezed.
Where fucking hell, like... So anyway, Ash,
they're in the Ninja Turtles... the home of the Ninja Turtles before they get to occupy it. They don't come till the 90s. So.
Indeed. So Ash wakes up. They have a discussion about, we're down here, safe, we're okay, people looking for you above. Eiji prepares some soup for him. We get what I'd argue is the best scene in this episode so far, which is that Eiji and Ash, they start talking about how he's not eaten, and we learn it's been a fucking month since he came, since... Well, I mean...
Wow.
I mean, not even necessarily a full month that he was, in Golzin's care, so to speak. Big quotes there. But I mean, he might have been at, Golzin's for a week and then decides out of the hunger strike. So he's really weak and exhausted, although that doesn't then ultimately play into the rest of the episode, regrettably. I mean, there are moments, but other than that, like, you know, if I saw like certain scenes later on, particularly the museum stuff, I would not believe that he had been, you know, on IVs and drips for like the past month, because he's basically back to normal. So I don't think they do a great job on that. To be
Listen,
quite honest.
he's just so fucking badass, though. He doesn't need to eat. Listen, it's more the John Wick thing. I mean, look at how awesome he is, even without food. Also,
John Wick did have a steady diet though.
Like
a steady diet of revenge. You know, best served cold.
It's true. Well, but the underrated scene from this whole part is when Singh and his man are arguing, and they're just saying downtown in English a lot, and it made me very happy. It made me think of the show tune. How does it go? Like, downtown.
Oh, God, you're right.
I'm like, I just wanted there to be like an anime music video about downtown and how important it is to these.
Mirror says Ash was revived by the power of love, and I'm hoping that's actually the song.
Yes.
I mean, they were on a train after all, so lyrics would fit. Don't need money. You know? Don't need no credit card to ride this train.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, Ash has some soup, and I thought this was really good, like how they just got that moment to, talk again.
What if this was like a turned into like a cup noodle commercial or a Campbell soup commercial? You just have like the logo in the corner and have him going, food hasn't tasted this good for a long time. And then fade into like the Campbell's logo. Incredible, dude.
Oh, man. So meanwhile, back in the Golzine mansion, Golzine, Blanca, and Yulong and co. are figuring out where they've gone to, because they've disappeared off the map. This is where we also get the wonderful line of, like, you know, if only Arthur had been around. And I'm like, Golzine, just to refresh your memory here, you utter fucking imbecile.
He ruined your company.
Yeah, while you were away, you know, enjoying whatever, you know, sights and sounds in Europe you so desired, and, you know, enjoying those duty-free goods on the way back, Arthur ran your fucking, you know, criminal enterprise into the ground, and basically proved himself unable and so incompetent that he could barely tie his own fucking shoelaces. You can't say that with a straight face. I'd have been more believing of this if he meant the fucking TV show. Honestly.
The Fist.
But
in Arthur's defense here, let me just say.
Oh, this I have to hear.
Well, okay.
Go on.
Right.
Come on.
We all have in our various places of employ or jobs or whatever we're doing, we all have roles in which we are fit for and roles in which we're not. Clearly, Arthur is not a manager. He is not meant to be a high. He's not a high level. He's not a high level manager, right?
He can't wash his own face.
How do you know that? Okay,
because I could imagine it.
So, like, a mirror beat me to the point, right? Is that in this context, he's saying, if only we had Arthur, because as a foot soldier on the ground, he knows the layout of the city quite well, and no one else in that room particularly did. Now, it didn't take Blanca long to figure out what the fuck was happening.
Blanca made the obvious point, which is, what are these dots on this map? Oh, so
I
wonder where they might be. I wonder where they could be.
The only fucking thing of note on that map is those dots. There's no other, it was such a, that map. I have problems with the map. But, okay, but Arthur, his role as, scout, navigator, topographer of the city, he could fit in there. You just don't put him in charge of the fucking megacorp. You know, you just don't give him an assassination mission for high-level target. You don't let him do any planning. He is a doer. He is a scout. He is an intel person.
Oh, he's a Boy Scout, all right. That's for sure.
Yes.
Fuck. Anyway, so Ash has been having this kind of, spider sense kind of feeling that they're not safe there because he knows Blanca's going to be on their case now. If Blanca was not there, of course, then he'd be probably quite comfortable with where they are. And he starts yelling at the various individuals there, which include Kane Blood. He's back again, and Su Ling's group. To get armed and get ready because they are going to be ambushed in the sewers. And wouldn't you fucking believe it? He's entirely right because, of course, Blanca is the one person who can go, maybe they're in the sewers. Who'd have thought?
Because that's where I got my power. I turned into a green person who can electrocute you. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong Blanca.
Yeah. And they fight, 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 and they fight. And the shooting, 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 and the shooting. That's yeah.
Montage. Should have just been a montage.
Every film needs a sorry. That's like the second Team America reference I made in this entire series. Mm-hmm. Shit. Ash principally he does hand AG a gun again, saying, "I wish I didn't have to give this back to you." But we've got like you could literally chart their relationship on how Ash feels with handing AG a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
That's like I could literally put a graph of like level of trust and then put pictures of the various moments that happens to tie in with it. It's not the barometer I would have thought for a healthy relationship between two people, but hey, here we are.
So he does it in the very beginning of the show, right? He gives him his own gun.
That he does.
Now AG's a big boy. He's all grown up. He's got his own pistol.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
It's my Glock.
So this is where I started getting John Wick 2 like vibes from like the catacomb scene from that film.
Oh,
especially the music.
Guess what? I haven't seen John Wick. And I love those kind of movies. I really should see it.
This is a trial talking about this episode. This is a fucking trial.
But I understand. At least I understand the reference. You know what I mean? Like I've heard enough. Like John Wick has been in the ether for years. The dog, the revenge, the fucking badass killer, like all that stuff. It's out there enough to where I understand what you're talking about.
I'm gonna send you a YouTube link to the scene where he like gets all his equipment in the second film, and it's probably one of the most amazingly equipment porn things ever. Like it's just fantastic. It's like, and what suit would you be wearing today, Mr. Wick? He goes, like, so, 3 buttons, something like that. And he goes, and what about the line? And he goes, tactical. I'm like, yes. All right. So anyway, the gunfight
about the situation.
So anyway, the gunfight proceeds. Ash murders the fuck out of a ton of people with like single headshots, like he's playing a fucking light gun game. I mean, Jesus Christ! So I imagine what his high score is on Time Crisis. It's going to be a bit ridiculous. During the kerfuffle, Ash and AG get separated. They have like 2 groups, so it's going to be like AG and a couple of Ash's friends. Kane actually takes Ash with him after knocking him out. And there's a brief scene in which, they say, like, right, we're going to go find the rest of them. Ash wakes up in Kane's, like, place of some description, wherever. And this scene was going in a direction I really, really thought. I'm glad it didn't in the end. Thank fuck for that. Because he had him tied up in the bed, and I was like, oh, God. Really? Even you, Kane? Are you going to fucking try it? But no, that's not the case, it says. He's just tying him up. It's like, fuck that. And then he's like, look, you're literally skin and bones. You're not escaping. We're just keeping you here for safety for the meantime. And then Ash, because he's, hulks the fuck out, just pulls the chains off the wall. I'm like, 1 month. 1 month on water and IVs, and suddenly he's stronger than Lou fucking Ferringo. Are you taking the piss here? Come on. Now, okay. I'll be fair.
You made him angry.
I'll be fair here. I get what they're going for here, which is that, you've said it before about a couple of different shows we talked about, but, the human will overcoming, limitations. Like, he wants to find Ace, so as far as he's concerned, he'll tear down the walls, if he has to. So that's fine, I get that. So,
Mr.
what
Lynx,
happens next? Is
Mr. Lynx, tear down this wall. Sorry, I had to do it. Yeah. This is just no visual similarity, but when you said that, that's what I thought. Yeah. That was, and to Kane's credit, I was like sort of worried it would be, oh no, like here we go, it's going to be sort of this trying to convince Ash, and Ash sneaks out and like the plan is fight, but he adapts very quickly. He's just sort of like, all right, so what are we doing? Hit me with your plan, boss. If I can't keep you tied down, you're good to go.
Firstly, we're going to Subway.
Some $5 footlongs. That's the plan, motherfucker. I haven't eaten for a month.
Yeah. But he has a plan, and next up, Blanca and Liu Young gets a phone call in his car. And it's like, oh, we found him. We found Ash, and he's running through the streets, shooting at the guys who were chased after him. He manages to headshot a couple of people through the cars, because of course he can.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was fantastic.
I mean, when is the fake Grand Order Banana Fish crossover going to be where he gets to summon Ash as an archer?
Oh man,
because he really would. Because he really would be a fucking archer.
Yes, he would definitely be in. Oh my god, why have I forgotten the name of this anime? It was from like 2 years ago, and it was like historical fiction, but like two gods were bringing back these various historical figures. Drifters. He would be in Drifters. If Billy the Kid can be in Drifters, Ash Link should be in. They should summon him as a gunman.
Sounds about right. So yeah, Ash is indeed killing people, and he's actually making his way to a museum, which he then heads inside. And Liu Young and his guys, they all arrive. Blanca's with him, and he says, "Right, okay, storm the place, capture him." And Blanca's like, "Wait. You do realize that there's no power in there, and he's probably going to use that, to ambush our dudes." And
I know this kid. I know this kid.
Oh, Blanca, you and your sound pragmatic advice.
Although he wants, I think he takes it on board, but he's like, "Look, I want to capture Ash for myself. Golzine's going to be here any minute. Can't risk letting Golzine get to him, so I'm willing to just fucking push on."
Yeah. So what follows is not the night at the museum skit I expected.
That sniping scene, you just brushed over that sniping scene. It's the greatest.
Where he shot through the glass.
Where he's like, where Yutlung is like, where it's like, Blanca is going, all right, we need to be cautious here. Let's play this out. And Yutlung's like, what? It's not even the first round over, and you're giving, and then someone's head explodes.
Yeah,
like that happens many times this episode. Yutlung thinks he knows what's up, and he should definitely heed Blanca's advice more. He should adhere to it more strictly. I think we all agree.
Definitely. So yeah, it's a night at the museum, but it's not going to be a fun Christmas romp. Sadly not. Although I would have loved it if a T-Rex did indeed come alive. That would have been quite funny.
Okay, what do you like? Would you also be scared if you were alone in a museum at night? Not like terrified scared, like, oh no, something's going to happen. But if you're walking along and then in your peripheral vision out of the corner of your eye is a giant skeleton in the shape of a dinosaur, I'd freak out. Come on. I'd freak out a little bit.
Well, I'm in a museum. If I'd have seen it elsewhere, complete out of context when I bought that, but what the fuck do you think is going to be in there? Come on, guys. Hardened criminals here, and they're just wetting their pants.
They are hardened criminals, that's true. But, I don't know. I mean, they're, again, I feel like in the dead of night, if only the emergency power lights are on. I mean, but you are talking to a person who scared themselves reading Jurassic Park, alone in the dark at night. So maybe dinosaurs bother me.
Mira's right. I'd be scared of, seeing things out of the car, right? But when you can see in the emergency light the full skeletal dinosaur, and you're just like, I'm like...
Look, I look at giant dinosaur skeletons in the full light of day, and I'm just looking at them, pondering them. It disturbs me then. Because dinosaurs are the fucking scariest thing. That's why I love them. They're just amazing real-life monsters. I don't know. I think that they're... I definitely felt seen during that part of the episode.
I never thought that would be the thing that the case is the most, but hey, here we are.
Yes.
So anyway, I will give credit to the lighting and the direction of this scene as Ash goes around killing people. It is genuinely cut almost like a horror piece, which is actually pretty great.
Yeah.
I really like it, especially when you get the rapid cuts between him moving between locations as he's almost ninja running around. But yeah, he makes short work of everyone who enters the museum, so no surprises there. And then And then while they're all deciding, outside, okay, what are we gonna do? Send more dudes in. Reinforcements arrive in the form of Kane Bloods guys who start shooting up the fucking blockade they've got outside the museum. And I honestly thought this was going to lead into a gag where we're just going to see more and more like convoys of vehicles turn up from different gangs. Like we're going to have Su Ling's fucking guys turn up on mopeds or some shit.
Yeah,
that would have been funny. But yeah, in the confusion, because Blanca and all the others are starting to shoot at Kane Blood's guys because they're on the other side of the road. Ash comes out of the museum, shanks the guy who's looking after Yut Lung, who's just a random dude, and holds him at gunpoint.
A scary pumpkin exhibition at the museum.
Oh, they'd have had him then. I mean, I'm literally surprised at this point they aren't just throwing pumpkins at him, like pumpkin grenades, the Green Goblin. I've said it before, it'd work.
No one else knows, thankfully. Only his own people know.
Nope. But yeah, and then almost leading into the skits I wish I'd seen happen was the fact that then, people from Yut Lung's gang who actually found Aging Co., they bring them over. And then Ash is like, okay, fine, we're having a trade. You and me, Blanca, inside there. You bring your hostages, I bring, this little dipshit here. And we'll talk. And so they do. And the decision is simply this. I want all your hostages and you get Yut Lung back. And Blanca's like, well, that seems unfair. And Ash points out, well, your reputation as a contract killer and bodyguard will be ruined if you can't protect your client. So that's your choice. Simple as that.
Yeah, he knows what's important to him.
Yeah.
So,
which is also, I should note, probably the first time in the show's run since Blanca's turned up, of course, that Ash actually gets one over him.
Yep.
So it's a nice hint here that that it isn't as one-sided as it is originally presented. It's not something that he's ultimately going to be able to beat physically, but he has to beat mentally.
The question is, though,
game of wits.
The question for me is, if Blanca was not aiming to completely earn the trust of Yut Lung and totally win him over, would he have tried to get him back by foot? You know what I mean? Like, is he really losing, or is by losing here he actually winning in the long game?
Not sure myself, to be honest. I think at the end of the day, I think Ash probably was right in that if you keep, he has to keep his reputation inside.
The braid choke? The braid choke. Yeah. That was epic.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love it if next episode, completely without explanation, Yut Lung's hair was just, short, down to, just below his, jawline, or even shorter than that. Just completely without explanation, just to back up the fact that, his hair was used like that previously.
Yes.
Yes. So they do indeed trade hostages, and then Ash throws a knife at Blanca, gets him in the arm. Blanca shoots Ash in the shoulder, but everyone escapes and goes their separate ways.
Honors even forearm wounds for both.
Mm-hmm. Golzine arrives at the scene, and he has a chat with Yut Lung, and he's like, "I just wanted to get you Ash for you, sir. I'm sorry."
That's twice this episode where Yut Lung is apologizing and looking like a, forgive the expression, like a whipped dog in front of Golzine. And I think that's kind of crucial because Yut Lung, in his mind anyway, he knows, or he believes that, it's only a matter of time before the partnership between he and Golzine is done. They both want to come out on top. They both want to scrub the other. And Golzine does a pretty convincing job, especially the first time, of being like, oh, we can't control all of our subordinates. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I've never doubted our friendship. I know that was kind of that was a backhanded, you don't have control of your men. And then
that was salt in the wound right there.
Yeah, and then this last time, Yut Lung again is like, oh, I fucked up, and he's like, why don't you just leave Ash to me? So I think he's kind of pinning him in here, right? If Yut Lung goes after Ash again, Dino is totally within his rights. He won't be the traitor. He'll be like, Yut Lung here is doing all this shit, and he's really going back on what we've agreed upon. So I will take you out. He's really playing the game, showing that he's the experienced mafia man here. And like he said, you know, Ash isn't someone who a boy from a well-to-do family can take out. Like, this is, leave it to me, leave it to Big Papa.
Oh yeah, because he's done such a bang-up job throughout most of the show's run. I mean, the only time he actually genuinely did get one over on Ash, well, twice, was one when he had, you know, his friends in captivity, and fucking murdered, well, got one of them murdered. And then secondly, when he had to call in, you know, the hitter, so unexplained contract killer who taught him all he knows. So, I'm a bit incredulous on that one. Anyway, Yulong and Blanca, like, you know, they discussed briefly, like, okay, he knows this place too well. He is a wild beast set free. And by the way,
you hate this.
By the way, I really do fucking hate this. I'm tired of it. I'll save it for talking point. But they mentioned they're going to let loose a scorpion in the city, and I just imagined Yulong pulling out this tiny little fucking scorpion, putting it in, and say, "Go, find him and kill him." And it's just there waddling along for like 5 seconds, going nowhere fast. You might need to rethink this plan, boss. Didn't quite work, did it?
So,
that is.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead. I apologize.
But that otherwise is the episode, pretty much. So
Indeed.
yeah, Ash is free. He's escaped. Golzine has got some plan in mind, and fucks if I know what it is, because Blanca's not on his side anymore, so he's going to be using Blanca to get it done.
Who are you talking about, Golzine?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think that Blanca. It seems like he still serves Golzine despite being attached to Yulong. You know what I mean? It feels like he's using Yulong to get close to Ash and also just to keep an eye on him. And like Golzine checks in on him. Golzine still seems to care about him. Like, you're wounded, you know, and they have a talk. And then there's that scene last episode of Blanca reporting to him. So I feel like, he might not be able to directly use him, but he's got a man in Yulong's camp that he can kind of indirectly rely on. This is just my feeling.
We'll see, but this late in the game, like, I'm very curious as to what they can possibly pull out of the hat now to make this happen. But yeah, that's the state of play at the moment. Ash is free. Age is free. Blanca's still working with Yulong. Golzine's got some cockamamie plan somewhere. Probably he's going to unleash a Terminator on a city. Fucks if I know. And that's it. The episode 20, The Unvanquished. Oh boy, what an episode. For wrong reasons.
Aww. I liked it more than you did. Okay.
You like most things more than I do, to be fair.
It's true. Shall we get into talking points here?
I only really have one, to be honest, because I already did the one about...
Okay, let me go. I have several. All right, so let me hit the sounder here.
Talking points.
Okay. Talking points. Wow, my writing is terrible. Oh, it's backwards. You can't even see what the fuck it is, but it's...
Oh, what, you wrote it back?
No.
It's the invisible link. It can all be seen under a black light.
So, okay. Talking points. Overall, I do agree with you insofar as in this episode, there are a lot of kind of moves that take place, things that happen that we have seen done before, and we have seen done better. You used the word offcast mechanical to describe the episode. And in terms of the big picture, I think like that is accurate. You know, if you were gonna zoom out and kind of bullet point outline all the episodes, you would just look at this one and be like, another kidnapping and rescue? How many fucking times have we done this?
Indeed, arguably, I would say the episode you could just say was over at the point that Ash escaped the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Functionally speaking, it was done.
Boy, that was an easy escape from the party. It did not feel like that they felt like what a half baked plan, right? But again, the writing covers its own ass because Ash very much, says in the subway, like, there's no way Blanca would fall for this. Like, he understands what's going on. He reads me. He's just waiting for his opportunity to strike back at all of us. And so that was good, at least. But yeah, I mean, just from a zoomed out view, you could say, well, look, here we go again. But I thought that there were some standout scenes.
ネクストポイント
Gosh, there's a few for me. Let me look back. Okay, so the dinosaur sound effect, amazing, fucking incredible. Like, again, you never knew this episode was going to speak to me in this way, but like when the guy who's going to die is looking up at the T-Rex skeleton, and you see the camera kind of pan up it, and the next shot is, fade into Ash in the background, and you hear the like dinosaur roar kind of.
I'd love if Ash was using like a little kazoo thing or something to make that noise.
Like some Jurassic Park 3 bullshit. Have you ever seen Jurassic Park 3?
Oh, regressively.
Oh, you have? Okay. Mother. I'm sorry that you have. I'm sorry I have. The movie's terrible. But do you remember that bullshit at the end? Like, they're surrounded by raptors and they're like, the raptor call. Like,
yeah.
No, that's the wrong one. That's the aggressive one. Do the mating call. Oh.
I think that's the last noise you'd want to make against around a horny velociraptor, to be quite honest.
Just.
By the way, so I think my favourite scene from that film was near the end when you've got the guy standing on the beach. He's like, "Oh, hello there," and then next thing you know, someone just, the fucking military just turns up and like offloads and like, wait, they weren't there before, so you didn't see them in the background, but now they suddenly materialised out of thin air. Did they fucking plan this? Did they stage this? So this one fucking dude would be on there saying, "Hello, everyone. I brought the military with me." Like, the fuck? Fucking comical. Well, that's the film itself, really, to be honest.
Gosh, my brain is stuck on Jurassic Park 3. I have to push on. Okay, there's a scene, and someone was talking about this on Twitter, so I saw it before, but seeing it in the episode was amazing. When you have Kane and Ash and Eiji in the sewer, and Eiji says, "All right, Ash, back up. Cock gun, load it. I'm going to create a distraction to get you out of here. It's time for me to, like, be useful to you for realsies and do some shit." And Ash is like, no. Like, and Kane disables him, says, like, and by the way, Kane, you motherfucker, saying, "Better he die than you." Like, how you going to write off Eiji like that? Come on, man. But anyway.
Could Eiji hold together down sound, though? Could he be the downtown man?
But, like, that scene when, like, you really hear in Ash's voice and see in his face, like...
Oh, I just remembered something. Can I just... Sorry to tangent, but I forgot to mention something. There was a line in which, after Eiji gets given the gun, he says, "It's alright, it's something for us Japanese." And like, what the fuck was that line?
Oh, okay, wait. This line is this. So, when he says that apologizing is something for us Japanese people to do. Because it's not when he's given the gun, he, like, has it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," Ash says, "I'm sorry you have to hold that, I didn't want you to." And he's like, "Don't apologize, that's something for us Japanese people." Because before, Ash has ribbed him for apologizing too much.
I honestly thought, like, are we making the second, like, broad stroke about people or peoples in this fucking episode? Are we really doing it? God's sake, stop it!
It's Eiji making fun of himself. And look, I mean, it's just a bare fact. Like, it's a very, very sort of etiquette and manners focused culture, and they do apologize and ask to be excused a lot. But when Eiji runs off on a suicide mission, basically, with a gun loaded, he could kill someone and, like, destroy the innocence within himself. He could get killed more importantly, even like the desperation on Ash, because Ash is for once well and truly not able to rescue him physically. He's like, there's been times when they've been separated, or there's been some kind of reason he couldn't immediately rescue him, but there's no reason he can't, except he's weak right now. And there's so much desperation in his face and in his voice. It's kind of beautiful. Like, I really liked that scene. The outcry for Eiji. And I thought that there was an interesting... So, do you remember when Eiji and Ash are kind of sitting around the fire? It's during the soup. It's right after they talk about the soup and do the commercial. Ash basically says, like, we need to go, we need to get out of here, like, Blanca's coming, and sing, and Eiji are like, no, we're fine, like, not sing, but it's just Eiji. He's like, we're okay, like, we're hidden in the sewer, everything's good, no one's gonna find us. And Ash is like, man, you're right, like, I'm just paranoid, I'm always, like, thinking about the worst case scenario, I'm always trying to plan ahead, think like other people, and think around these problems. And I thought it was so interesting that he equates that to cowardice. And he says, I guess that's because I'm a coward. And that there's this idea in his head that things that look incredible to us, right? And this is so relatable because I think everybody can kind of look at things that are actually strong points about themselves and see them in a negative light. Like, he sees this incredible ability to calculate and plan ahead as cowardice, because it's not the brave way, it's not facing a problem on its terms head on straight away and tackling it there. It's avoiding the problem, even though we would not see it that way. We'd see it as excellent planning and dealing with the problem mentally beforehand. He kind of sees, again, this very sort of negative internalized emotions. It's like, this is just me being a coward, really. All it is thinking steps ahead. And again, I found that incredibly relatable as someone who is quite, like, predisposed to that kind of self-deprecating attitude. Yeah. Like, I was into that.
I hear you on that. I absolutely get where you're coming from on that, but the thing is, has this been a part of Ash's character until this point?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not so sure about that.
He doesn't think highly of himself at all. He never has.
Well, there's a difference between thinking highly of yourself and thinking little of yourself as well. Like, you can be in the middle where you don't actively think about it. Like,
I think he thinks little of himself. I mean, remember when he's like, come to Japan with me, and he's like, why? I couldn't do anything. All I'm good at is killing. And he's, Eiji's like, no, like, you could do these other things, experience life. Eiji told him before, like, you're special, you have a gift. You're a natural leader, you're very charismatic. And Ash is like, fuck that. Like, I'm not. I'm like, all I'm good at is killing. Like, that's nothing. That's not anything that's praiseworthy. That's a bad thing. I think he does have a low view of himself.
The thing is, I don't think that's a disagreeable point for him to make, though, because he's right. Like, this is the thing, like I've said before, like, about him trying to become a regular person, but he's lived a life of, crime and violence so long. Like, those are the only tools he has. He's not technically inaccurate. Self-depreciation often is being where you inaccurately assess your own, capacity. When he says that all he's ever known is killing, I'd argue that is true. Certainly, he's well educated, sure. but he's never actively pursued his education or used it for his own benefit. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't think it gels quite as well as it could do.
Well, I think you can draw a distinction between someone who like yes, it's true, right, that Ash is a killer, has been raised that way, but the reason he's so good at being a gangster is because of all the innate talent he has. You know what I mean? And that could have been molded in any way. Like, that is he's not just he's not just someone who can pull a trigger really fast. He's an excellent planner, an excellent motivator, a leader, full of charisma. Like, he has all these talents that could be put to use in other ways, but like, he's been so kind of I don't want to say ruined, but like programmed and put in only these certain kind of scenarios. And he can't see that because he doesn't have the outsider's perspective that Eiji has.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, like, I get that kind of idea, but I don't think there's assessments of himself apart from the coward thing. I think the funny thing is, like, if he says, "Oh, like, his pre-planning thing is nonsense," it turns out he was right to be worried, which kind of also defang that a little. That defang it a little bit for me because, like,
well, he was right, but he he was right, but still, like, I don't think he's saying. So yeah, there's the one part: is he right or wrong? Like, yes, he was right. He was wrong to let his guard down, but then there's the other side of it: is he a coward? And you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I'm kind of trying to talk about is that, like, and whether or not it turns out that Blanca comes, like, I guess it doesn't matter to the thing that I'm saying, which is,
I actually think it would have been more interesting if nothing had happened at all. Like,
well, sure, no, yeah, that'd be a different thing, and it would be interesting. I just think that this is a revealing scene in and of itself, regardless of that outcome. That Ash believes himself, that believes that his ability, his tactical ability, and foresight and forethought is evidence of his cowardice. You know what I mean? And he probably, I want to say he, I don't know that he's always felt that about himself because for so long he wasn't able to escape his situation. I mean, last episode he called himself, basically, pardon my French, like a cum dumpster. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm just
that's not the thing I was expecting to say then.
I'm a toilet, and he told Dino, like, I'm just a toilet for your semen.
No.
Like, this is a person who has a very low self-worth, I think. And you'd absolutely understand why. Yeah.
No, I get that, but I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, that the connective tissue here that gels this thread together, because it hasn't been something that I felt was apparent. For me, the primary character arc of Ash thus far has been, I'm here now, here's where I want to be, how do I get there, can I escape being a criminal? And I think that, like, questions of his competency or self-perception, his cowardice, like, if that was a genuine plot thread or character thread to me, it would be inhibiting somehow. But it hasn't stopped him because he's still that fucking good. Like, he could say, I believe that all it was, but it doesn't actually stop him from doing the...
Sure. Like, it doesn't hamper his ability. I just think it ties into seeing, like... It ties into, like, Ash as trauma victim and him kind of overcoming or trying to deal with all of it, like, throughout the story, I guess, in the ways that he has and has not dealt with it. I don't even know if it's meant to be this major thing. It was. I
don't think it is.
I
to
felt
be
like
honest.
an incredible. I thought it was a really, really incredible kind of window into the soul of this character.
But I will say that that's just my read. So, if people do feel differently about it, that's fine. I got nothing more than that. You got me there.
Yeah.
Damn. Right.
I just want to now add that I've been deceived everything. Get away from me. Get away from Dark.
Oh, God.
Okay, man. Those scenes were my talking points. So do you have another point?
Next point.
I do.
Okay, hit me.
Let's talk about heavy-handed bullshit metaphors. Let's go.
Okay, all right, let's do that.
This is only going to be brief, but I'm really kind of tired at this point of Banana Fish making a big deal of the Ash as a wild beast metaphor in plain language terms, like blunt force, characters outright stating it. I mean, there's that old phrase, subtext is for cowards, coming from some director somewhere whose name I can't remember. But guys, like, at least it could be phrased differently. Like, are we going to start using terminology around wild animals? Possibly call him feral, maybe. You know, he's gone feral. You know, can we at least mix this up a little bit?
Have you kept your fangs and claws sharp?
Yeah, there were four separate times when they use that as metaphor, and I'm just like, I get it. We are literally 4 episodes from the end. This is one of the clearest, you know, I mean, there was an episode devoted entirely to using a book and its story as allegory for him as a person. Can we stop this? Please? Like, Banana Fish is usually pretty good at handling subtlety, but this is just like it's been written by a completely different person. Like, you just had someone come in with a fucking crayon and just, like, writing these lines on the script, and they didn't even notice and just went with it. Come on. Really?
Well,
and the thing is, like,
Mira was saying earlier that they are
cringy.
Then they're spaced out much more. That they had to truncate all the dialogue and cut a lot of it. So, but as you point out, like maybe they could have scratched one of those in the cutting. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, this episode is certainly guilty of having lines that should have been cut or changed entirely.
Yeah.
So, you know what, like, whatever the original material might have been, this is a fault of the adaptation as much as well by simply not going, wait a minute, haven't I heard this same thing like 5 times already? Nah, put it in. Send it to the voice. We're good. That's really it with talking points, because the only 2 things I really wanted to talk about were the, well, at least in detail, were, of course, the wonderful anti-Semitism part, and the fucking and that bit then. So I'm good. I've got no more to add.
Well, very good. Well, this is going to end up being a significantly shorter episode than our last 2.5 hour stream.
Man,
that's okay.
Well, the thing is, like, not much technically happened. Like, you know what? The funny thing is, right? I think someone said once, like, you know, what could they have done differently for the adaptation? And I've been thinking about this. Call me crazy here, but I actually would have completely cut the mental asylum thing from the entire story. That's 2 episodes worth of time. Yeah. Because the thing about the mental asylum thing is the only things that happen for it, be it character beats or actual physical things that happen, is they get Dr. Dawson out. And that could have been, you know, handled very shorthand kind of, you know, way. It could have been, like, you know, done in a 2-minute intermission. Or, like, you know, they could have had it, some of the other guys handle it as a different task. This episode, like...
And I didn't like it. I'll just say, like, I didn't enjoy the asylum stuff. I don't remember... I remember thinking, like, oh boy, here's a big digression. Great. Like, these random government, like, dirty government people, and the senator, and... you know, I don't know. It just felt like... I mean, we got the candy bar scene out of it, the special candy bar. So,
well, this is true.
That's a key moment for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
But
again, yeah. Sometimes the process of adaptation is making hard choices when cutting out quality content. And coming at this episode, apart from the obvious fact that, you know, I'd get rid of the fucking, you know, Jewish community shit.
Oh boy,
I would actually arguably. If I was still pressed for time, I would cut the sewer and museum scenes entirely, or at least rebuild them or restructure them in some way. Maybe
the museum scene was too good.
Maybe blend elements from the museum scene together into the party. Like, that's where one gets taken hostage, for example. There are ways this could have been done, but I don't think the adaptation has been efficient as it should have been. I mean, certainly it's given a lot of time to the very good.
Oh, Barbara. You'd miss out on Barbara if there wasn't the asylum art. Yeah.
I mean, some people come out of the closet, but she goes into it.
Hey.
But yeah, I'll have to see how things go with the final episodes, of course, to give a proper opinion on what they could have, like, you know, cut down or not on. But I think definitely you could have, well, 2 episodes worth of the asylum stuff, you could have easily got rid of that. Just had, like, Dawson be taken, you know, somewhere. I mean, has Dawson even been relevant since then?
No, because since he turned all the materials back over to Golzine, you know.
Yeah. So it was kind of fuck.
It was totally dragged. I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think maybe they might not have made the best choices with adapting this particular. And I'm not talking just in terms of like that they didn't go far enough with making creative decisions and changing the content. I'm just talking like about the trimming aspect. Like,
yeah.
What do you keep and what do you get rid of?
Well, I think it's a very hard job. You know, like when you're given X number of TV slots to fill, and you're tasked with adapting a work of this length, you're probably not going to get every choice right.
And there's always the issue, of course, of how attached you as a person handling the adaptation of the material.
Yeah, that's
too
true.
close to it. You'll probably try to get everything in there for better or for worse. So, who can say? Anyway, that's all I have to say about this episode.
All right. Well, shall we rate the episode and then go over the polls one more time?
Yes, let's do it. Okay. For me, I did describe this episode as mechanical because it seems like it just serves the function of, okay, Ash escapes. But Ash escapes early, and then after that point, we've got time, like, for action scenes that they all look fine and all that, but I'm just not that into them. I don't hate them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike their inclusion in there, but I think that this is, again, the function of the big problem of the show, which is Ash is too good for his own good. So it kind of made it a bit more difficult for me to truly enjoy them.
Right.
Mirrors in Sleep. Go on then. What's the plot point we've not mentioned then? Go on, hit us with this. Let us be educated.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the interim, I'll just say that I give the show. Well, no, why don't you give us your rating since you were already talking about it, and then we'll talk Mirror once he or she. I don't know Mirror's gender, so once they post it.
On top of that, like, didn't care for the opening 30 seconds for reasons I've already discussed.
Yeah.
Didn't particularly care for the heavy-handed metaphors. All in all, I'm going to give this episode 2.5 giant skeletal dinosaurs out of 5.
Man, you took my the dinosaur bones.
I knew it. So
I really did enjoy parts of this episode in isolation. I enjoyed a lot of the scenes. I do think you're right, and like I pointed out as well, altogether it felt a little bit of more of the same, but less well done and less fresh. And it sounds like some stuff that was cut. I'm so sorry, Mirror. I called you a he. Bakami. Emily is like, don't say anything. Oh, we haven't talked about it. Maybe perhaps that will be good then. That will be kind of that we'll look back on and be like, wow, like cool.
It's gonna come in like this.
Yes, we'll be like the people that got shot through the windshield in Newtling's. Will just get sniped when we're taking our victory lap. Gloating.
Just thinking of other things like, oh, I'm going to go get myself like, a nice meal when I get home and I'll watch some HBO. It's going to be great. And oh, God, I got shot in the face.
Yeah, totally. Let us think back in a few weeks to how stupid we were to miss it. Oh, boy. Well, this is exciting. Okay. You got me very curious, though, Mirror and Emily. Okay, so. I everything being said, there were a lot of scenes I really enjoyed, and man, chat this whole time has been saying that they're so happy that Yulun got beat up. You all are cruel. Happy to see him get kicked down the stairs and choked with his own braid. Like,
yeah, he has been a fucking snake, to be fair. He's had some sort of payback. But he's still
great.
I know, but
No, look, but it was such gleeful delight in him getting abused. I do not share this, and you're all terrible. I think I give the episode 3 and 3/4 Downtown Musical numbers out of 5. There, so here's the thing actually that I was thinking about that we didn't mention, and this is very brief, but do you remember when during the party behind a pillar after the gunfire had broken out, Blanca is protecting Yutlung, and they argue a little bit, and then Blanca kind of pulls him down, and then you get to see Yutlung kind of all cradled up in Blanca's arms, and he has this look on his face like, yeah. It just makes me think, like, Yutlung, like, is either in part or in whole just after wanting to be protected. Like, I'm sure that he does just really, I don't know, he just seems quite taken with Blanca in many ways, and I enjoyed that scene.
I'm willing to bet you if I went on pixiv.net and just went style like hammering in Yutlung x Blanca OTP or some shit like that, there's going to be a ton of fucking fan art out there, because I can see that being a ship, certainly a ship that Yutlung wants to sail on.
100%. All right, let's talk.
ツイッターポール
Twitter. Let me update them and refresh. So here are the polls this week for Banana Fish episode 20, The Unvanquished. Does At the Subtle Doctor really like action movies if he hasn't seen Die Hard or John Wick? 67% say no way, man. Vote in that, because I really do like action movies. Commando, great. Missing in Action, glorious.
So fucking glad you got Commando. Jesus Christ.
Yes. Demolition Man, incredible.
Yeah.
Love the Blade movies. Let's see. So, would you also be scared of full-size dinosaur skeletons in the dark? 63% say yes, dinos are scared. No, it's gone down to 56%. While I was talking, dinos are scary.
I wonder who might be splaying for that.
Well, they are. That's why they're great. How many times is Golzine going to get shot in the shoulder? I didn't get to point out this, but god damn it, he got shot in the shoulder again. Can someone hit the man in the head or the heart or some vital area?
Maybe that should have been the fourth option, like anywhere but the shoulder. Just fucking.
It's like, yeah.
It's not a question of how he says he gets shot in the shoulder, how he should be shot somewhere else.
He should be. Just twice, over and over, and not enough. Not enough with 72% of the votes as leading the pack. Those are the polls. All right. I can't believe the anime cut Blanca catching Yutlung when he falls down the stairs. And Manera loving that they cut that. Again, so cruel. So cruel. All right. I guess before we sign off, I just wanted to re-emphasize that next week, a week from today, December 5th, we're doing our 300 plus follower live stream, which Vorgalia will be back for that. You're all in for such a treat. I love her to bits. Shadon is the soul of the show. I would say Vorgalia is the heart of the show. So we've been a heartless show for too long, and we're welcoming back our first lady. And we're going to live stream this, I don't know what it is yet, because besides one YouTube comment in chat, or not even a YouTube comment, a chat suggestion yesterday, 2 days ago rather, it's been 48 hours and we've gotten no suggestions. Don't disappoint me, fans. Don't. What a pompous thing to say. Don't disappoint me, subs. Yeah, we are depending on you guys to make a case of what terrible anime we need to watch live and react to as if we were the MST 3K anime edition. Please tweet us at Warui Deshou or email waruideshow@gmail.com with your suggestions, with your case for, I don't know,
some right schlock, some absolute shite.
Yeah, some hot trash. that is not Garzy's Wing. I mean, honestly, I'd kind of be down for watching Garzy's Wing again. but we can no, we've already done that.
No.
We don't want to see something we've already seen. Psychic Wars, Bounty Dog, Street Fighter Alpha, Ninja Resurrection. We just the other day watched Chimera and Judge back to back. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit, those were terrible. Especially Chimera was a piece of shit. Man, someone gave me that VHS for Christmas once.
Wow. Are you still friends with that person?
Well, we're not as close as we once were. That's all I'll say.
Why. I wonder why.
No, it's not for those reasons. It's just because shitty real life stuff. But at Pancake Paradox sent me that for Christmas. But it was the year we did some bad tape trading. I sent Miles from Crunchyroll Bounty Dog on VHS. So, so we would do something like that, Charlie, but we're looking to live stream a short, like an OAV. So I should point that out. It needs to be an OAV or a movie. And again, there's no short supply of terrible things in that department. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to, I still want to bring in, at Surreybot, Patrick Price, and do a big order episode of this podcast, because that's some awful shit. Or we could always just stream a few episodes of God damn it, what's the name of that show? Written by Mari Okada. We watched it. It was like a horror spoof of they went to camp, like a real life start over camp. It had Hyoketsu no Judgeness.
Mayoiga.
Yes. We could always just stream the first episodes of Mayoiga because the first episodes are great. We got ideas, but we need OAV suggestions.
No. Please don't let me something I don't know about, please, if at all possible, because I just
your name, Jack, and my name, Hyoketsu no Judgeness, are too similar. It'll never not be funny to me. It'll never not be funny. Dear God. What a fantastic line from a fantastic show. Lost Village, yes. the Mayoiga English title. Sweet Jesus. That's a show, man. And we've all already seen it. I think after I brought up the boob crab? The breast, the silicone breast with crab legs. We could always just consult Build Knuckles' list of crappy anime. He has a list he sent me of some real garbage.
Right. Well, there we go then.
So we could, if we don't get listener cases made, we'll consult that list. But I don't want to do that. That's a last resort. I want to pick something that the viewers suggest, and they want to see us suffer in a particular way. So,
oh god,
Conception, like the video games, did they make a show of that?
It's an anime about babies. Oh.
No, there are video games. They're anime games.
Yeah, it's not to do with that, as I understand.
Oh, okay. I think
I could be wrong on that, mind you.
Is Conception related to Deception? The game.
No.
The game about making traps, like for demons and stuff.
No, it's definitely not that.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it was one of those anime apparently that you could say that Shinzo Abe made. You know, that old meme. Oh fuck.
All right, I'm gonna Google Conception video game and see if it's related. It's a role-playing game developed by Spike, not Spike Chunsoft, simply Spike. It's a PSP game. It's published by Spike Chunsoft, developed by Spike. The player's goal is to charm girls from National Star God Academy, raise their affection for the main character, and then produce and take the Star Children to explore dungeons and battle impurities. However, it is not an eroge, as the Star Children are produced by pouring energy from the main character and one of the 12 Star Maidens into a particular device.
Oh, fuck. What a concept right there. Energy.
There's an anime from May 4th of this year. Gonzo made an anime.
Energy.
I wonder what color it is.
Oh, we all know it's white. Let's not even mince words on this one. Oh, I'm covered in energy. What will I do?
There's one with the whale or something.
We're in for a rough ride next week, that's for sure.
It's true. A lot of bad can be boring. That's entirely fair, and we've been there. We've done. Maybe we should just do Crystal Triangle, because that wasn't boring. That was fantastic.
That was an acid.
The recording's been lost forever.
That could be an idea.
And our bow recording also is lost. But
we'll have a think about it.
But bow was not as bad as I remembered it being.
We'll get on that. Anyway, so that is the end of the episode.
Yes.
Thank you all very much for listening as always.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back also next week at some point, number 21. But of course, we'll have our 300 stream then. And we'll also be recording the Macross Christmas thing as well. So it's going to be a busy week for us.
Yeah. No, that's the week after. So next week is 21 and our 300 plus sub stream. The following week is 22 and Mac Christmas.
Merry Macross Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. In the meantime, Doc, where can people find you on Twitter?
At The Subtle Doctor. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share. We are on...
Smash that mic button.
Smash it! We are on iTunes. And we just received our 20th review fairly recently. We were on 18 for a while. But that really helps us. Like, if you like I say in the beginning of the podcast form of this, we're not interested in taking your money for Warui Deshou. For now. But we if you want to help us, it definitely an iTunes rating, certainly, and a review, if you be so kind, would help us there with our visibility and discoverability. But we show up as 5 stars. We had shown up as less because there's a person that gave us a 2-star review. Show yourself, coward. No, listen, that's fair. We're very... Yes, exactly. No, we're shit. We're bad. We're very bad. That's entirely fair. But it's been mostly kind people leaving 5-star reviews and ratings and some nice reviews. And we're on Twitter, like I say, as well. And we got our Gmail. We got our SoundCloud, which is a very nice way to consume the show via podcast. And you guys in chat, of course, know YouTube. But if you're on demanding this in the pod, you can catch this live on YouTube. We put out the announcements on our Twitter when we're going to stream these. So if you're interested in participating in the really lively and lovely discussion, please sub to the YouTube channel. Come on by when we do our thought stream.
Hell yes. Right, for me, you can find me at Shadon1010 on Twitter and also at curiouscat.me/Shadon1010. You know all this. I'm not magically changing my name anytime soon. It's like Gunter or anything like that. So there we go.
How's Curious Cat been treating you?
It hasn't. No, I've not received anything, which is fine.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it's all. They could very well have been there, in which case, it's okay for them to be wrong. It's okay for them to not know what.
Oh, speaking of Darling in the Franxx, and God, we're talking about this show still. I was telling Shadon, I think it's quite funny to read the lyrics of the current Banana Fish OP as a letter that I wrote to the creative staff of Darling in the Franxx.
I could think of many different songs that I could substitute in that place. To be honest, probably all of them.
I've been deceived. Everything, and a very guttural "Get away from me," etc., etc. It's a thought experiment I did, and made myself laugh quite a bit while reading the OP lyrics.
I could probably think of a decent Real Big Fish song to go in there. Cheer up, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah, somebody hates me.
Anyway,
that's how you feel when you're watching the show.
It really did feel like sometimes like it was just deliberately constructed just to push my buttons. Anyway, we'll not talk about that anymore. So, everyone, thank you very much for listening as always. We'll see you next week. Until then, have a fantastic week. And as always, gracious for everyone till the ends of the universe. Very good night.
Good night, good luck, goodbye.